And we want to think that man's way is mandate and God's way. And we want to think that man's way is mandate and God's way is optional. What does man's way mean? That means go to school, get your degree, get a job, to the exclusion of loving that which is beating your heart and breathing you with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might, consciously caring to honor and glorify the lineages through whom you've come.
Welcome back to Women of Tomorrow. If you are new here, thank you so much for taking the time to stop and click on this video. Women of Tomorrow is a platform dedicated to the success and longevity of women all over the world. If that sounds like you, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Adama, thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much
Kayla,
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm a little nervous.
It's all right.
You know, I know this is going to be so powerful. Every time that I've come to visit you at your space, you always make me cry. I mean, you don't make me cry, but I always end up crying.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, it's just so powerful, your message. And it just always feels like it's something that I need to hear. Mm-hmm. I don't know why the tears come. Maybe the tears come because I know I need to do better, or the tears come because, you know, the power and the spirit that you're speaking with is very, very, very rare in around me. I don't hear it spoken in the conviction that you speak. Mm-hmm. I found you on YouTube probably over a year ago. Okay. From a viral video, and you were just I casually came about, and you were I don't know exactly what it was titled. Do you remember what the title of that video is?
I think it was the Vegan Linked.
Yes.
The Vegan Link, vegan since 1978.
Yes,
Biscuits deep.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you were just like laying it out about, you know, what is going on in society right now. And for me, with Women of Tomorrow, and Diego was just asking me about, like, you know, the different guests that I like to have on, and the reason why I choose people, and what am I open to. And I just was telling him that my message, I want to help put out a message that helps women and all people that it trickles on to think about their wellness, mm-hmm. and not just the way society might tell you what wellness is, or success, right. or security, and things like that. And I wanted to have you on for a while. I was a little intimidated because I'm still kind of learning the digital space, mm-hmm. This wellness space, and having a voice out here on the internet, and all the different censoring and the things that come along with it. And I wanted to make sure that, I guess I wanted to try to safeguard. And then I called you and I said, I don't know if I said, I'm scared or I'm nervous.
All right.
And you were like, well, there ain't no time to be scared now. Like, right. This is a calling. This is what, you know, you say you're about. And so this is an opportunity for you to really live in that. And I know this will be a conversation unlike anyone I've ever had in this setting. And I'm so grateful that I know you, that I found out about you. I'm grateful for you for doing everything that you do. And so I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy you're here.
And I'm happy to be here. I try to show up where I'm asked, because everybody ain't asking.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So those who do ask, I definitely try to apply myself to being present.
Yes.
The issue for us as women is realizing that under a global initiative of depopulation and genocide, the intention is to phase our lineages out of existence. Mm. Each generation has been assaulted with more chemicals, more poison, more foolishness, more of that which literally compromises not only their longevity, but the integrity with which they're able to think and take personal responsibility for how they live. All right. So to speak to sisters from the blackest black to the lightest light all over the planet, we're having to realize, one, we never had to be licensed, certified, degreed, or religiously indoctrinated and miseducated to be women. But going through that process, that we are ministers and preachers and pastors and teachers and businesswomen, and we are in every echelon of society, but we're maintaining the system of oppression. That's what our education, our religious indoctrination, our degreeing has allowed us to participate as some of the profiteers from the marginalization, the anesthetization, the inebriation, the intoxication, the violation, the subjugation, the domination of everybody in society.
Yeah.
Now, to have a system in place that has instituted oppression systemically means that there is no success that you can possibly have if you've never come to the place and space within yourself where you have not asked and seek to understand the purpose in being on the planet.
That goes back to you're saying just knowing who you are and why you're here.
And where we are in the presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence that people refer to as God, that I'm referring to as the intelligence of existence that is all there is as existence itself. So the earth is as big as a period at the end of a sentence in relationship to the eternity in which we're in. All right. But when people talk about where they are, they say, oh, well, we're in Babylon. Oh, well, we're in the belly of the beast. Oh, well, we're in America. And I'm saying, no, we are actually in the presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal.
Make it, okay, break it down, please, Adama, because you speak with so much intention. And before we even get there, I want people to know, how long have you, I kind of want to back up and know like your story, like how long have you been in this place, this type of work? Because I know you're friends with the greats in this space, so you've been here for, you're right along with all the greats.
I have been, well, from the time I was a child, I knew something was wrong in the world.
And how did you know? Tell me that.
I just knew. I was in Detroit.
You were in Detroit.
Okay, so the Motor City, down the street from David Ruffin and the Temptations with his girlfriend wrestling on the grass, seeing Smokey Robinson at the Dairy Queen. I'm just saying, Fox Theater and the Supremes and all of that. So I grew up in Motown frequency, but when Dr. King was assassinated and Detroit was on fire, I was 10. All right, and it was indelibly impressed upon my psyche. All right, but I knew even before then that something was wrong because I wasn't aware, or I'll say this: the pediatric cardiologist who saved my life as a child was dead 2 years after my open heart surgery.
Wow.
All right. So my first experience as a 6-year-old, seeing a woman who had saved my life in her casket, and I'm trying to figure out, what is this death thing? And so my childhood was literally permeated with my trying to figure this out.
Got it.
And nobody was answering any questions.
They didn't have the answers.
You're 6. Okay.
They're not even listening to the question.
Wait, it'll come. That's what they say. It'll come.
Yeah.
But no, nobody was trying to get me to understand any of it in truth, right? And so by 7, I didn't want to eat meat. I was throwing my parents' cigarettes away, their alcohol away. By 10, Detroit was on fire. Big military tanks. I mean, the tanks with the huge things rolling down the street. The city was on fire. And so I made a conscious decision to be in consistent communication with God. from the time I was a little girl. So I've always been a prayer person, praying, asking, knocking,
Is the prayer
seeking.
traditional, like get down on your knees and pray, or
Well,
how did you
that's
develop?
how I was taught.
Yeah.
That's how I was taught. But after a while, it's like wherever you be, however you be, you start. You
Yeah.
just start. You know, on the way here, I'm in prayer. When I'm waking up, I'm in prayer.
Yeah.
When I'm doing my protocols, I'm in prayer. So the praying is just a consistent communication and acknowledgement of the presence of that which is beating our hearts and breathing us. So there's certain things that we learned from the time we were very little, whether we went to church or not, we've heard it, right? And we heard, thou shalt love thy mother, father, creator God, thy Lord, with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Right, I heard that too. I also heard, these things I do, you can do also and even greater things. You heard that?
Yeah.
I heard, ye who believe on me shall have eternal life. You remember that?
Yes.
Right. You remember?
Yeah.
Thou shalt honor thy mother and father. Thou shalt love thy neighbors as you love yourself. You remember that?
Yes.
Right. So I'm just saying, we've heard all of this, but do we see the evidence of it? All right. And so from the time, so being very young and having an inquisitive mind after being saved through major open heart surgery, being hit by cars at 10, again, drowning in the Atlantic Ocean at 14, being hit by another car at 16. You understand? But there were commitments my mother made for me at 4. Let my baby live, and I promise you she'll live to do your work. You understand? So this is the power that we have as women. This is the power that we have as mothers. This is the power we have as these points of the presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence, but we have not been supported in living a committed and convicted life to life itself.
I have a question about that. The supreme intelligence that most refer to as God. What do you think the disconnect is from people? Because I feel like people are just looking at God as, a man coming down, saving for heaven or hell later, and it keeps them from activating in the now.
Well, the primary disregard or the disconnect is that the blood has been defiled.
The actual blood.
So the spirit that we each are in these bodies. And so it matters that we have a more realistic perspective of where we are in the presence of an absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. We're on a planet that is 80% water spinning in eternity, right? But we've come into this realm through the sacred fluid of our mother's womb, sparked by the sacred fluid of our fathers, but then we got no support in respecting the sanctity, the sacredness, and the divinity of being. But to be under a system of oppression that feeds us the carcasses of dead animals, dead pigs and cows and turkeys and chicken and fish and crayfish and lobster and crab and whatnot, and then make us think that eating death is going to be somehow healthy. Drinking the body fluids of another creature, the cow's milk, or having the bacteria added to the milk and it curds and sours and it becomes cheese, which hardens and recoagulates and then builds around the walls of the 100,000 miles of blood vessels, capillaries, veins, and arteries. All right, so our oppression, our disconnect from walking in the fullness and having a full realization, or the real I in us truly being activated, so that we see the oneness of existence and that we are respectful of the harmony of the whole of existence, is because our blood has been polluted with the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows, artificially colored, artificially flavored, NutraSweet, aspartame, carbonated beverages, all of the FD and C colorings and whatnot that were in the Kool-Aid, the Powerade, the Gatorade, all of this laying foundation for the acquired immune deficiency syndrome that they call AIDS, because we were never properly nourished as intelligences of existence that were female, born with all the eggs we'll ever have, as the perpetuator of lineages, or males,
So from the
the
very beginning.
progenitor of lineages. All right, so it has always been known that becoming man or female and male in our mother's womb, that destiny was becoming women and men. Mothers and fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers, great-great-great-grandmothers, great-great-great-grandfathers. And as sons and daughters, we're granddaughters and grandsons, great-granddaughters, great-grandsons, great-great-great-granddaughters, great-great-great-grandsons. So, no, we are the bridge between those through whom we've come, those who are with us, those who've come through us, and those who've yet to come. So, purpose in being upon the planet is to ensure the continuation and the perpetuation and the exaltation and the enhancement and the progression of our lineages. But who got that? Did the education give us that?
Absolutely not.
Did our religious training give us that?
No.
So this is where, and then we're being fed like beasts in the field. And then on top of the meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the fish, then you have the pancakes, the waffles, the breads, the biscuits, the croissants, the donuts, the pastas, the pastries. Flour and water make paste.
Yeah.
That's what we did our paper mache with when we go to school in second grade, right? So now everybody's body is full with all of this paste. That's called mucus. And that paste is binding the nitrates, nitrites, BHA, BHT, artificial colors, artificial flavors, all of the behavior modifying chemicals.
Behavior modifying.
That they have modified our behavior. How do we know that our behavior has been modified? Is because we are not doing what all other intelligent creatures do, which is to exalt a full effort in our living. Know their food, excrete their waste. Know their kind, perpetuate themselves, and be able to respond when they sense that their lives are being threatened. We, on the other hand,
As humans.
are feeling entitled to be doing that which undermines our cellular functioning.
What do you say when people are like, you only live once, or everything, this is a big one, everything in moderation? Because, I mean, this is what we're up against.
Well,
these kind of
exactly,
conversations, these kind of comments.
But the issue is this. We were told, thou shalt love thy mother, father, creator, God, thy Lord, which is that which is beating your heart, breathing you, perfectly and divinely designed you with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might. Okay, we want to kick that to the curb, and we want to think that man's way is mandate and God's way is optional. What does man's way mean? That means go to school, get your college, get your degree, get a job, file your taxes. You understand? Do what people do. To the exclusion of loving that which is beating your heart and breathing you with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might, consciously caring to honor and glorify the lineages through whom you've come. When we look at pictures, for those who have pictures of their grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, you don't see them with the legs wide open and cigarettes and stuff falling from their lips and their pants sagging and this and that. You see an intensity in their eyes that transcends 150 years on Kodak paper of the intensity of what they endured. My grandmother was born in 1899. She was a Spelman College graduate. Her sister, who I was named after, Arnetto, she was a Spelman College graduate. All of her brothers graduated from Morehouse. You understand? So that generation that exalted education, and that's what we were told, get your education, get your education, get your education. The education was supposed to give us some parity. The education was to help us come up out of being treated like garbage for all intensive purposes.
Yeah.
You understand? So as a child watching the March on Washington, everything in me went like this. This is before the assassination. I